Welcome back to season 2 of the Pregnant Bitches podcast.
I'm Jessie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're just a couple pregnant bitches navigating motherhood together.
Welcome back to the Pregnant Bitches podcast.
We're sitting together today
with some very
we have
special guests.
some special guests.
Some special guests. And they are our husbands.
We spoke about them a lot on our podcast, and we thought we would give them the opportunity to come on here and say a few words. So
let's introduce them.
This is
What's up?
This is Adam and Josh.
We actually have a big announcement for you guys.
What?
Let's bring out the slides.
Oh.
We're introducing our podcast. It's called Dedicated Dads.
Okay.
And this is the first episode. So welcome to Dedicated Dads, guys.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right.
It's a collab.
It's a collab, and this is the first episode. Let's start.
We talk a lot on the podcast about things that no one tells you, and we talk a lot about stuff from our perspective, but we thought it would be good to have the dads on and talk about some of the same stories we've shared from their perspective, and maybe give them a chance to kind of
rebuttal everything that
some
we
of
said
the things that we say
about them.
Did we bring any snacks?
There's no snacks here.
There is no snacks.
We are at your house,
There's
so
no
are there
snacks.
Maybe they are pregnant bitches. They need their snacks.
They really
Don't get us
are
started
pregnant
on that.
bitches. All right, let's take it away. I'm gonna
Mike
go
is yours.
ahead and ask the first question,
I
and
can ask
the
if you
first
want me to.
question is to Josh.
Okay.
And I want to hear from your perspective how Jessie's second labor and delivery went.
Okay. So let's preemptively build the story up a little
All
bit
right, let's
here.
build it up.
I think the first part to understand is that you guys talk a lot about women being pregnant. And I get there's a physical aspect, but I think you need to get into the mindset that men are also pregnant, just not in the stomach.
Oh, okay. Where are
We're
they
pregnant in the
head?
brain.
Oh, okay.
Right? While we don't physically show our pregnancy and bear child, we're mentally bearing child in our head.
Okay.
So going into a pregnancy, you have to understand that actually you might not see the emotion coming out raw in front of you, but actually there's actually a lot of anxiety and stress from our perspective of what we need to do, especially when your wife decides to not have an epidural, go into a place called the Toronto Birthing Center with a person that you've never met. I didn't even know if they were a doctor and what to expect. So that builds up a big environment where you need to be on. At least the first time around, I knew I was in a hospital, everything's going to be okay. Second time, I'm like, all I knew about the place that we're having the babies, they have a smoothie bar.
Right. So
And they didn't even have a smoothie bar.
right. So it was scarier.
That smoothies.
It was a little scary for you.
Bar. Yeah, it was scary.
It was
Josh
scary.
was upset
Okay.
about the not lack of
They
sleep.
made
It
a
was
pot
scary.
of coffee.
They
Okay.
made you a pot of
No,
coffee.
it wasn't scary, but it was
Hey,
a
that's
new sense
fair.
of emotion.
That's
that comes
fair.
with it.
I didn't really think of it from that perspective.
I never thought of it,
I was
yeah.
kind of just like, let's go for
Yeah,
it.
well, why would I show my fear
Right.
to you when you're about to push a child out of you?
No, but I
That's
did.
a fair fear to have.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what's going to
agree.
happen to my wife and child? I'm not at a
God
hospital.
forbid.
What's
not
going to
at a
happen?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like,
But-
totally get that.
Yeah, it's
In
pretty crazy.
In hindsight,
Like you have friends who have had a baby
Right.
that have torn and had to have more stitches and time sewing them back up than it took them to deliver the baby.
Right.
So
That's true.
in a hospital setting, like, listen, they got everything they need. And not that the Toronto Birthing Center didn't have what they
no,
needed
they,
and would
she
have
said
dealt
they
with
would
it.
have froze me.
But it's not a hospital. It's a birthing center.
So
So,
you have
the
traumatized
fear of
your
things
husband.
happening.
So
No, it was actually a great experience.
okay. Would you
enjoyed
do it
myself
there
thoroughly.
again?
Would you do it there again?
I personally had a much better experience at the birthing center than I did at the hospital.
Okay.
I don't know if you would do it again.
Yeah, I don't think she is.
Number 3.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Get the necklace out.
The necklace
the
said we're
necklace.
having a third boy and you guys are having twin girls.
Let's go upstairs.
Twin girls.
Yeah, that's
All right.
See, that's
So-
that's the risk.
You're gonna have to bump
Adam, you're
that
next.
yellow and
Josh,
bump
explain though. Okay, I'm gonna ask Adam first, and we'll ask Josh
you're
after.
next, Adam.
Adam,
Great.
did you like the birth experience, and did you want to see the baby coming out?
Absolutely not.
Set
Absolutely
it go
not.
for failure.
This is the.
I think
No.
There's
No.
nothing.
Some people-
There's
Don't get me wrong.
Some people some people want to
Where's
see
the
it.
pizza or something? Like,
I mean, something to do with your hand.
I think for me it was just. I just wasn't interested in seeing it. I didn't want to have the vision. I didn't want to see it, and I think when I'm not like queasy over blood or anything like that. It was just one of those things where here to support you, babe. And
How did you
How about
support
your
me?
kids'
Above, above.
breast? Did you watch your kids' breasts?
yeah,
That you were okay
I
with.
was fine with that.
Yeah.
He was okay with his
I actually
kid's
was
dick
more
getting
okay.
chopped off
I wasn't okay
instead
with
of
that.
looking
Oh,
at his
really?
wife's
I'd
vagina.
rather watch the kid coming out.
Well,
in
you don't
public.
really see because
It
like
depends where you stand.
No,
You can
'cause
stand here. You can stand here. Like there's angles.
Explain what the baby coming
Jesse
out
was
looks
just sitting there like.
Josh, explain what it looks like when the baby
it.
comes out.
You want to bring Benny here, and I can show you with the baby. Hold the
no,
mic for a second.
explain. No, stop.
No.
I don't want to see it.
No. Explain what the birthing experience is like from that angle, from your perspective.
From seeing your wife's
So
vagina.
you didn't watch.
No.
Well,
Show
I
Josh what you were
watched.
doing.
listen, I was,
Show Josh what you were doing.
I was above pec,
Yeah.
above boob.
You were back here.
And what were you doing?
I was actually on this side.
And tell him what you were doing.
I was on this side for
Okay.
Ace, and I was on that side for Arlo.
Interesting. I was on that
You
side for
remembered
Ziggy
what
and this side
side
for
you
Benny.
were on?
Look at that.
Interesting. We had a
Yes.
pattern.
I remember.
I was left side and then right
I was on
side.
your right shoulder for Arlo, and the screen was there. I was watching the chart, and then on Ace we were flipped. And I was
Right.
on your left side.
I have a question for him. I just
Okay,
thought
go,
about it right
go.
now.
no,
My question was when I looked at you and I said, Adam, I'm going down, and I fainted, what was going on in your head?
shock. It was.
And
It
imagine
was
not being in a hospital.
yeah.
Right.
No,
But like,
it-
I want to, like,
But for those that don't know, and I don't know if you guys have spoken about this, but like, I've seen you faint before. I've seen it.
You
I've seen
fainted
it.
before?
Yeah, I'm a
I've seen it. I've seen
Oh.
it coming on. So I kind of once I saw that,
You
I
knew.
knew how to react to it.
Interesting.
It wasn't as like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And like I paused. It was like, okay, she's going down. And like let's get ready to grab her. So like I said to the nurse, and I was there to grab her, and luckily you're with very well trained
Hospital.
people, and you're in a hospital. So I don't know what that would have been like in a birthing center. Not to discount a birthing center. I'm just like, I don't know.
right.
Just the comfort of being in a hospital. I was like, okay.
Well, you
everything's gonna
don't
be
get
fine.
an
That's what I was
epidural at a birthing center, so you're
No.
good to go.
You might just faint.
Yeah.
She could have fainted. Jesse
that's-
almost fainted.
Yeah,
I
that's
barfed
the
Could have
everywhere.
scary
fainted from
part.
pain.
She could have.
Yeah, you
Close.
could have fainted.
That's
We were
true.
almost there.
Right.
And that's a scary part. It's not like, yeah, obviously it's scary like when I faint without being pregnant with a baby, but I feel like the fear of like me fainting while I have like a child in me, like what happens?
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of, when we had this discussion about you guys having Benny in the birthing center, I was like, God forbid.
Right. What happens?
Like what happens if something's going wrong? Like
Luckily, they're really on top. Like, how many times did she check the heartbeat of the baby and me? Like, if something was going wrong, she
I
would have
know.
taken us. But yeah,
So let's back up a little bit here. I see you guys have an agenda, but I think I can guide you in a direction in the conversation that might actually help some of the dads who are listening.
okay,
Okay.
good.
Yes,
You-
that's what we
go.
want.
other than the new dad's one, do you do a podcast?
Well, now that you've asked.
Fuck you.
On Tuesdays, we do Tales from the Lockbox, a property.ca podcast.
Are you going to
I'm your host.
sponsor it?
Ooh.
If you're interested, you can follow. We just
No.
had Tyler Cohen on an episode. Check it out. It's really good. Anyways, back to talking about pregnancy for a second from a dad's perspective. And I think having the experience from both places, we can talk about it a little bit. Like I said before, it's a scary experience when you go into there because like you don't know what's going to happen. It's like it could go in so many different directions. Going into the birthing center, I think it created an environment that was very comforting
Yeah.
and very relaxed. Like the first thing they asked me when I got there is, "Would you like me to put a pot of coffee on?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." But the one-on-one dedicated attention from somebody that's a professional, their job is to birth children. Like a midwife, from what I understand, compared to a doctor, like they're dedicated, their schooling goes specifically all around birthing children. So the having somebody like one-on-one man action, that midwife stood there the whole time, checked the baby continuously. They were always there. So actually, when you have the fear of not being in a hospital, it's made up immensely on the other side,
Right.
by having somebody.
That one-on-one. And she's
it's
the
not a
same
nurse.
girl the whole time. There's no
she
shift
doesn't
change.
leave.
Right.
There's no like new
Like she was
person coming
in the battle with us from start to finish, from the second we walked into the second we left. Actually, like
Right.
Sounds like
we
was it?
actually, me and her walked in together, me and the midwife, and we walked out together.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
So she didn't
3
sleep.
hours after.
We
Either.
were together the whole time.
It was like 9 hours.
Right.
And then a couple hours later, she was at our house.
Right.
And then a
Checking
couple
the
hours
baby.
after that, we were at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but explain what you have to do this. He has the funniest thing.
That's what I said. You want Benny to come?
No, explain what it's like to see the baby come out with your
The
hands.
crowning.
Yes.
Okay. So I've taken it on from frontal. Ziggy, I was much more on the front, not in the back.
Right.
It was a lot. Benny, I was more to the side, but I definitely know what was going, so I knew what to expect. So
Hold the mic
gotta-
for him.
You know, it kind of starts off.
Adam,
with this,
hold the mic for him. On his face, yeah.
So it's kind of starts off with this
No.
crowning that starts to happen, where you kind of can see the head of the baby coming out, and then you're like, "What's going on there?" And like you see this spot, and then it kind of just starts to happen, and then you get this kind of like the head comes out. So now you're looking at like just like,
a bobblehead.
There's just a head here. There's just the head, and then all of a sudden it's like, and then the whole baby just kind of just shoots out.
Adam, after Josh telling you that if we were to have
No.
a third,
Would you look?
no, you still wouldn't look.
No.
One time,
I was showing the day
I can live with the unknown. I can live with
I
that.
could not.
right?
I can live
Okay.
with what Josh just explained and
He's good.
and you're
and
good to go.
described and know what? Thank you.
I want to walk.
I appreciate it.
I'm glad I can help
But then,
you.
like, you
For
have
all
to
the
film
dads,
it
you're
for
welcome.
me. Like, I want to see my baby come out of my vagina.
You'll have a midwife, and
And she
that's
can
what
film
you would
it.
like to direct her.
It's
to.
actually very intense.
Honestly,
Like, I
I'm
don't
just gonna
think
bring
you
my
do wanna
stand
see,
and
like-
put the phone right there
now
and
we
just
got
film
the
it.
stand. You can have the stand.
You're pregnant?
No,
Oh, God.
not yet. I hope
Okay,
soon.
speaking of pregnancy, what was your least favorite part of us being pregnant? And what was your most favorite part of us being pregnant?
I'm gonna speak selfishly for a second. That's you guys for Amanda, it was just nonstop bad shit, bad food, bad like snacking and like this.
part?
No, honestly my least favorite part. Like we try and stay in somewhat good shape, and with you guys,
Blaming
when,
me.
because
Like,
He's
yes.
blaming
You're
me.
unhealthy.
I'm blaming my
Me.
health
Okay.
on
On
the
me.
pregnant bitch.
Yeah. Dropping bombs here.
You're
Okay.
blaming me. I'm the one carrying the baby. I'm the one who's sick, and you're blaming me because you can't eat a fucking chicken. You got to eat McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yeah, who
about
put a
doing
gun
it.
to your head and said you had to
You
eat
have
it
to eat it.
too?
It's emotional support.
Oh, it's emotional. So
Yes.
he
He
was
wanted
pregnant.
Dawn-
as
he
much
wanted
as I
I
Dawn.
was.
have to do it with you.
As Josh started this podcast, this episode, we were also pregnant.
Dedicated dads, it's called.
Dedicated dads.
It's
We're gonna do a
almost-
spin-off.
What about you?
I can't. The emotions are intense.
Right.
But my favorite part is that the wine and the alcohol in our house stayed for a while. It
People
actually,
like money.
the wine didn't.
Oh no! The
like,
best part.
I had Camus for a long
You know
time
what
and I
you know what
disappear.
should be the best part that I know you took advantage of? The designated driver role.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
my
Ask me how
favorite.
many times I had a designated driver. Maybe once.
Yeah,
That-
no, I
that-
love
Hey,
that.
you
What are
didn't
you
drive?
talking about?
You had, I think it was like
I
one
dropped
game.
you off and I picked you up. Shut up. Adam, shut up.
Your nights
This
are
is actually
longer
a
than
marriage
ours.
counseling
Like, you
episode.
go out longer. Like you're
Welcome
laying
to
later.
our therapy TED Talk.
Yeah, the DD. I
DD's
actually was
unreal.
really pissed.
Right?
It's a very big part.
I used DD Jessie like two,
Yeah.
3 times.
I'm still
Right.
milking out DD
really.
because
I'm still milking out TD.
we're not wasting that breast
I'm
milk.
not totally drinking it. But honestly, in COVID, I was
God.
pissed. I was like, I have no role as a DD. That was like one of my things that when I was pregnant. I was
You
like,
were excited
I'm
to be a
proud.
DD.
Thought it was wasted.
Well, it's something to
was a
do.
waste.
Right. Okay.
Like it's some role
I guess
to
Jessie's
have.
getting pregnant again. She's going to DD everyone.
I
I don't know
liked
about
it.
that. I think we're
But I mean, at some nights I would have really wished I was drinking. Like the night we went out for your
Right.
birthday and
Right.
we were out with 19-year-olds. I
Right.
was like, I wish I had
alcohol.
was drunk.
Yeah, you were
But-
pregnant.
You were pounding back non-alcoholic
Oh yeah.
beers.
Some people
she
thought I
was.
was. Some people thought
She
I was
was.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
You can sync. That was pretty good.
Which transition did you find harder? 0 to 1 kid or 1 to 2 kids?
1 to 2.
Yeah. That's what we
Adam?
Yeah. Well, definitely 1, 2. It's just like
Told you.
you know when nap schedule or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
they-
like one can. If you want, one can check out. Like it's a pretty easy thing. With 2, there's no 2 people checking out.
Right.
Do you want to play? Do you want to play hockey with a power play, or do you want to play?
With a
Right.
full team.
You know what's
Right.
funny? Ask us the same question. We thought 0 to 1 was harder.
I'm sure. Of course, it makes sense.
Oh, I
It's a
hear
whole
one.
new experience for you.
Right.
You didn't know what you were getting into.
Right.
No.
Now you know what you're doing.
Yeah, we
So
do.
yeah, it's okay.
Right.
For us,
Okay.
we know we have to work now.
Right.
We all have to work harder. Here.
Yeah. We all have to work harder.
There's more bums to clean.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to know what was the
3 kids.
scariest experience that you guys have had with your kids. Adam, what was your scariest?
Mine was right here, sitting exactly where I'm seated right now. Arlo had come home from school. We had this like the sports thing in the afternoon, one in the summer. We gave him a bar, which I think had cashews. I think it was cashews.
Right.
And he had...
But we tested his allergies.
Right, and he hadn't been allergic to. Anyways, he had the cashew bar. Goes to tennis. He gets red in general.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It would be hard to really see if he's actually having a reaction. And he goes and he's so hot out and he's all red and flustered, whatever.
And he's saying, "Daddy, daddy,
he's
daddy."
crying. I wasn't there. He's crying to Amanda. Anyways, we bring him home. That's probably after a good half an hour.
Yeah, but I had no idea what was going on.
Right, but just this, like the progression of this reaction wasn't instant, and I'm allergic to, and I've had the experience before, but it definitely wasn't immediate. So 30 minutes goes by. Amanda's probably back home by now. I'm seated here with him, looking at him. Now we start seeing hives. We start seeing him. I wouldn't call it distress breathing. I would just say
he was also confused, what was going on.
There was
in his
deep
body.
breathing. He wasn't in distress. He was stressed.
I know.
Anyways, long story short, he's seated here. I'm like, hey, well, something's got to happen. He has an EpiPen. We have EpiPens in the house, of course. And I called 911. I say, and once again, I'm allergic to peanuts. I've been hit with an EpiPen twice.
You know
I
what it's
understand
like.
how it all happens.
So
but I never
thank God it was
administered.
So fucked.
You gave him the EpiPen?
I never
Not a
administered.
joke. I've been hit with an EpiPen.
Right. So did you do it to
I did it
yourself?
to myself in my hand one time. when
Oh my
brother
God,
put it right in my hand.
Josh.
I'm not allergic to anything.
Blue to the sky, orange to the thigh.
It was not fun. Well, I went blue to the thumb and went,
Yeah. So,
anyways.
Poor
guy.
I had called
you stabbed
911.
Yep.
And I just said,
stabbed
listen,
him and I
I
watched.
know how to do this, but walk me through it.
but he
You were
wasn't
because
breathing.
in the moment
He
you're
was fine.
really
He was having.
But
you
you
could
needed
see,
it.
You could see it was progressing.
It was progressing.
Yeah,
to
911
anaphylactic
said,
reaction.
Give him
give it
the
to
EpiPen.
him.
911
And
happens.
they walk you through it.
They walked me through it. I administered the EpiPen. They're on their way. They're here. Pretty
What did
quickly.
Arlo do when you gave him the EpiPen?
So it's adrenaline. Like I don't know if
it's
you
like-
remember. It's just like you get this like
your
their
foot,
eyes.
it's like
Eyes are alive.
Oh my
and that's
God.
obviously the point of an
It's
EpiPen.
horrifying.
And so he's sitting here. I think we gave him some
Then
water,
you
some
have to go to the
electrolytes,
hospital.
some fruit.
Yes.
I forget what else we gave
You
him.
have to go.
They come in, they check, everything's good, and at that point, whether it's a kid or an adult, you need to go to the
have
hospital.
to go, yeah.
And
Because-
so actually, opposed to the States, where I'm not wasting your time on my story, but in Canada, I think it's for sure Ontario. I don't know if it's Canada, but you have to say minimum of 4 hours.
Whoa.
Because you can have a secondary reaction. So when I was shot with my first EpiPen, I was in the hospital in the United States.
interesting.
They said after 2 hours you can go. I stood up from the bed and I had another reaction. They were letting me go, which is crazy. Anyways,
Wow.
back to Arlo. Ambulance is here. Looks good. Let's go.
You're going to tell the story?
I guess.
more.
There's more.
For me, and one of the hospitals here in Toronto is an incredible. There's many incredible hospitals here, but for this one in particular, the time it takes to really whether it's being processed or to see someone is quite excessive.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a lot.
And so I said to the ambulance, I want to go to a different hospital. And there's one that we go to for the kids. And so I said, take us to this hospital. And they go, well, we can't.
It doesn't work that way. So this
And
is not
It's
an
not,
Uber.
it's not a restaurant that I don't want to go to
Sorry,
this
we're
one.
not an Uber black car.
So I took it upon myself and understanding what anaphylactic reactions do and how they happen. We had another EpiPen. We had multiple more EpiPens in the house still after the first one. And I just said, listen, we're not going in the ambulance. I told Amanda and
You
I
did
have
not.
to sign
we had
a
one of-
waiver that's
we had one of our
released.
we had a nanny
To go to the
here.
other hospital.
We had a nanny here at the time who helped prepare the bag, and I was like, Amanda, we're going. I drove like I was Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
There was no shoulder I wouldn't drive on. I wasn't.
It was and I was sitting in the back with the EpiPen like this,
Oh my
about
God.
to stab my kid.
I just said, listen, I've been through this before. We're prepared.
But wouldn't you be considered an emergency? Wouldn't you have gone to the front of the line if
No,
you got
because-
to that?
At that point of the administration of the
necessarily.
EpiPen,
No.
his
He's not in
By
the
the time-
original.
by the time we
Right.
got to the hospital, nothing had happened. It's like nothing had happened.
Right.
Yes,
Because it was
exactly.
working.
And that's similar to me. It's like, you go through this little wave of the 10 minutes of adrenaline, and you come back down. So yeah, you're a little tired.
Right.
Right. You've gone through this roller coaster, right, with the adrenaline. And so anyways, we got to the hospital. Everything was great. Thank God. They were so amazing in the hospital. We were there for 5 hours or so.
He was having so much fun.
And yeah, we were hanging
Mr.
out.
Halpern, we've been waiting for you.
We were hanging out.
Yeah, we have our
and
fair
Spot-
share.
Parking spots.
Sorry for the long story, but that's really the scariest
Crazy.
thing.
Right.
And that's
So we've both been to the ER then.
There we go.
well, we've been to everyone's the ER. These doctors. are
Mine was
incredible.
my story is not even the one that actually happened to Zig, but it actually is the bad one. But
The toe one?
the toe was bad. I forgot about the toe.
What were
talk
you
about
going to
the toe.
say?
Oh, but we actually might get in trouble as parents. If I say that
Okay,
one.
let's talk about the toe.
The
toe was
bassinet
bad.
one?
Yeah, that was bad, but
That one's not, we're not going to get in trouble as parents.
maybe.
By who? I guess
The parent police.
We don't want to be roasted in the comments.
No, we don't.
Okay, so let's talk about the toe.
Yeah, the toe was bad.
Let's talk about it.
The toe was bad. There was we were at the cottage. Jesse was making dinner. Me and Ziggy were there. He was walking around, and there was this like stone kind of like end table thing.
Right.
And Ziggy was playing with it. And I remember I was sitting on the couch right here, and he was over here, and he pulled the thing down, and I saw it just drop right on his toe. And I looked down at his toe, and it looked like because it was a triangle, like a guillotine cut his toe off. So my instant reaction was grab his toe, and I just yelled, "Jesse, car, hospital now!" Thank God we were at the cottage, because at the cottage it's a 10-minute drive, less than 10-minute drive to the Aurelia Hospital. There's no traffic. Like if we were in Toronto, we would have been
Fucked.
Right.
but anyways, I didn't even want to look at it again. I just grabbed it and
It was like
started
dangling
driving
off
now
his
because
toe.
I thought in my head his toe was severed.
Right.
And it's just big toe, which means it would have
was
fucked
big
him
toe.
for life. Like, how do you balance without a big toe?
Serious cut. So, anyways, we drive to the
thought about
hospital, and Ziggy's screaming. Jesse doesn't know what to do. I don't want to look at it to know how bad it was. So again, in my head, this kid's toe is off right now. Like we're sewing toe back on, and we get to the hospital, and like, listen, the Aurelia Hospital's a lot shorter of a wait than in a
No,
Toronto
they all
hospital.
let us go first.
Ziggy
Right.
was screaming and yelling, and I remember
Everybody
the
was
people
like-
at the front of the line. They're like,
They
"He's
can
next."
go first.
Right.
Thank God.
And they did that, and it was actually like within half an hour we calmed Ziggy
Did they
down.
stitch him?
They stitched him.
But
Yeah.
no, they didn't give him a single med.
Even to this
Not
day
one
now,
med.
his toe's fine, but his nail on his toe, they told us it was
Tucky.
going to be a little bit long. It's not
Right.
tacky, it's just like half an inch long.
But I feel like I don't know about you. Like I feel like when
fine.
the scary
was
things
fucking
happen, I'm always like Josh. Like I'm like I have to
You
call him. Like
panic.
what do you?
I was like, hospital
No, he's,
now.
like,
Car,
calm and, like,
hospital
knows, like-
now.
Adam's way calmer than I
yeah,
am.
like I'm like
100%.
lunatic. Like he got a bloody nose the other day. I'm like Josh, like
Yeah.
screaming.
I actually think the part that I don't love about it is that Ziggy was actually so young that he probably doesn't remember.
no, he doesn't.
No.
he
And
doesn't
if it actually
learn.
happened now, I actually think it would have been better because he would know the
Not to
repercussions
touch
of
that ever
actions.
again.
Right.
I know.
Versus he was so young that like he doesn't remember it. Like
Right.
if I bring it up, he doesn't know.
Right. Ask them.
Yeah. Okay. What?
How to use some.
Oh, yeah.
stuff and see if they know.
Okay.
Okay,
No.
let's do it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. So we're gonna give you.
Are we doing?
Like my legs open. What's wrong?
Okay.
My legs? You want me to move?
Okay. This is the no. Okay. So these are the first
Okay,
ones.
we're gonna give you these two products,
I'm not
and
touching
we
that.
want to
Yeah,
know
no,
they
no.
are clean and sanitized.
No.
Touch
I'm
the
good.
purple
Guys, come on,
part.
purple part, and we want to know.
Our branding matches.
Yeah,
Who's this? Who's?
and we want to know what you do with this, and please show us how you would.
Is this
use
for like perfume?
Okay, we're gonna let Josh go first.
This is what they use at the dentist.
Is this for like,
After they take the cavity, they use this to spray the water inside.
you know, like when you get a pet, like I don't know, like
Oh,
a
like a
mouse,
dribble.
like
Oh, yeah,
like
like a
the
little
dribble.
hand.
That's
Oh,
what
it
a dribble.
actually kinda looks
Yeah,
like
it
that.
goes in the cage.
You're right.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
cool. Thank you.
Do you want us to tell you what it's for?
I know what it's for.
Okay, tell us.
You have to say it.
You have to say it.
We have to. Who's
Yeah,
gonna force
say
us?
it.
I might walk off.
Guys, this is an unfiltered
Filtered
podcast.
There we go.
It's for
Clean
cleaning.
the,
It's for cleaning
as
your
they say, vagina.
It's a handheld bidet.
Yeah, that's a good way of.
You can
putting
actually
it.
use that for your butt.
Yeah.
What about those? Like, does this not work? Like those
can
fancy
have your
Toto, like.
vagina-
This is what he's saying. It's a fancy.
No, I
bidet.
know, but can you like?
I wonder.
theory-
In theory, yeah.
In theory, if you have one of those toilets,
Yeah, but it's probably too hard.
The part that I don't understand about that thing is why is the nozzle not fixed inside? Like, why does it go up? Like, why is it? Yeah, I don't understand that about that.
Because it's for travel purposes. instead of carrying it like that,
collapses,
it
yeah.
collapses.
Yeah,
so
but it's like,
less
I
You
space.
feel
gotta
like
reinvent that. Like that thing's ought to come off and clip onto the bottle.
Maybe there's a better way.
There
but
we go.
That's a pretty
We
good
can
company.
create a new product.
alert
I like
coming
that.
up. All right.
Okay, and this is the other one. Tell us what you think this
That's
is.
the
I'm
boob
not even
massager.
touching that one.
That's the boob
touch it.
massager.
Well,
It's
looking
all
at it,
clean.
it doesn't look like a boob massager to me.
Josh thinks it's a man vibrator.
It starts as a boob
Can you
massager.
show
so
us
you just-
on Josh what you would do?
Really?
Yeah.
Can you lend that one to Jessie? She might need that right now.
Okay, it vibrates like a vibrator. So after,
I have a question.
After
Is that-
you're
is
done
that-
breastfeeding,
Is that
can use it as an
advertised
actual-
as
feel
a
it.
boob
I'm good.
vibrator or a
I
vibrator?
touched it
this
when I
is
walked in.
actually a boob vibrator. It's called Levy. You can check it out on our Amazon storefront. And it's a 2-for-1. When you're done, like me, you can use it.
That's
for
why
other
he doesn't
things.
I don't want to touch it. That's why I walked in.
This is.
Oh my god.
Just
You
Okay.
guys
Clean the
having
shirt.
fun?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, our turn.
You have
can ask
questions
us
for
a question.
Yeah, go for it. Ask us a question.
We only had one more question, so you can ask us. We'll ask
Ask your,
ourselves.
ask your question.
Our last question was, as a husband and dad, what are some
Dedicated dads.
dedicated dads? What are some things that you've learned that nobody really prepared you for or told you
question.
about that you were unexpected? That's like kind of like what we talk
That's
about
our
on the
topic.
podcast and everything. So we want to know from your perspective, especially since dads and guys, I feel like don't talk like moms do. What were some things?
Firstly, that's not
false?
true.
Okay. Okay.
We do talk about these things.
Okay.
When we're on our boys' dinners and before kids, we're like, ugh, like, you know, not,
We can't go for 5 hours. Oh no, what are we going to do?
listen, it's just like it
That
is-
sounds like an
the-
Adam problem, not a Josh problem.
You need a golf. It's for the brain. But these conversations do happen. So I think that's not
Good.
true.
That makes me actually happier to know
I
that.
had no idea that you guys sit
but
there and
but I
talk
would say
about-
they didn't really happen. Like I don't know, like Josh and I, or you know, some of our other friends, our mutual friends. Like I don't think before we had the first, we were really talking about it. However, like for example, we had 2 kids. There were conversations happening about what is it like with 2 kids, or
Right.
if one of us had a kid first, then we were really having those
You're
conversations.
using each other to like get info and stuff.
Like I think what you guys will agree to, what Josh will agree to, is every day is a learning experience.
Yes.
Every day they get older, the new school, new camp, new friend, new, you know,
Everything.
One can walk up the stairs now. One can walk down the stairs. Like, what if they fall down the stairs? Like, you know, it's just like you got to trust and you got to learn and you just got to
Right.
take it in. There's nothing.
Okay.
I like this.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's.
I agree.
It's a great learning experience. It's just
Right.
hard to
It's
teach.
a process. I think the number one thing that I learned that most people won't know is that like I eat everything and you can't finish all the food when it's being made in the house.
Or else your wife is going to.
And you don't know when it's going to happen. Like, you know, like we've got into some of the biggest fights we've ever had over a half a serving of spaghetti that I finished. We've gone into a big fight over a chocolate chip cookie that was finished. No, sorry, cheesecake.
Who's
Cheesecake?
Who tends to do the food shopping?
The snacks appear. I don't buy snacks, but the food will appear.
Do you eat the snacks
Because
you don't
usually
buy?
Jessie will like if she wasn't
eating her snack.
if she
I'm
wasn't
wondering.
pregnant, she would have what she had and then she'd be done. But I didn't realize that when you're pregnant, it's like I might want that again later.
Right.
This is what you're
so
shedding
during
light
pregnancy?
on.
Yes,
But that's
You're
like,
shedding light
Yes and no,
on
you never know.
hormones that
yes, I
are-
told you the emotions. The
Yes.
emotions is
The
real.
hormones that a woman goes through, pregnant and postpartum, are another like
there
personality
needs to
that
be
the
a
man has to
warning
deal with.
program for dads to explain to them that like
Husbands.
you need husbands that you need to understand that like you don't know what's about to happen and you don't know what action you're going to take going to piss them off. Don't take it personally and just brace for impact.
That's
and
very
just think
I
if,
like
you,
that.
like
if
that.
it
Brace
could
for
piss them
respect.
off, it will piss them off.
Even if you think it's not going to piss them
It'll
off,
piss them
could
off.
piss
it's
them
going to
off.
piss them off. Brace for impact. Just be prepared that if you think it's right, it's probably wrong, and if you think it's wrong, it's probably wrong as well.
It is wrong.
Yeah, definitely wrong.
You're always
Yeah.
wrong.
To be
Okay.
fair, I actually think that's great advice,
that.
and you kind of just got to power through and know it will end. And do I not seem more normal now?
Ooh, that is a tough. Oh boy.
Okay.
Are we done?
Plead the fifth.
I didn't come here to get in
Do
trouble.
you have any questions for us?
A good question would be, what is something that didn't happen during your pregnancies that would have been better for us to do for you?
Like what you guys didn't do that we
Maybe.
wish you did.
Yeah, or maybe we could have done more of. What's something that dads can do or husbands can do to be a better support system for their wives during their pregnancies? That's the question.
Ask more often, is there anything I can do or help you with or get for you? Because waiting for the person to ask,
If you didn't get it for her, you're
kind
wrong.
of like you were really good. Like that time that I had,
Too much.
no, oh my God, that time that I had like that watermelon craving, it was like 9:00 at night. And I was like, I need watermelon. He's like, what am I going to do? I'm like, get watermelon. Like we need watermelon now. Like it's an
did that.
emergency.
I feel that way every day
For
of my life that I
popsicles.
need watermelon.
Okay, but like that was a moment where like I genuinely needed something. But like when the wife doesn't expect it and you say, like,
Can I
do you
get
need
you
anything?
anything,
Like how are
sweetheart?
you feel or how are you feeling today? Even if you ask that and she answers it and you kind of like tune out, like at least you ask the question and she can talk and like
I would always talk and ask the babies how they're doing.
The babies. See,
Yeah,
the
but
babies.
I-
What about me?
what about us?
Well, I did, but the babies too. They're important. You're
But the babies are going to
They
be
don't-
like, "Meh, goo," like
I'm saying in the stomach when they didn't.
Oh,
When they
Adam
were,
talk to my stomach.
I would always talk.
How
Like,
are
just
you
see
doing?
how's it going.
I'm like, I don't know. I need more French fries.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good question. I do have one
Oh,
more
you
question.
do. Okay.
Which age category have you found the easiest and which is the hardest?
That's a good question.
Having two definitely makes that easier to answer.
Yeah.
Right,
well,
for sure.
Well,
Yeah, you're
like Ziggy and
comparing.
Arlo are what? Off like 2
I'm
3
like-
weeks.
3
If
weeks?
that,
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So, like, I think especially going through it this for the second time, I don't see like this, like the first year and a half being very difficult. I think once they're able to start talking and
a
show
shit show.
attitude, whether you like it or not, they're going to talk back. They're going to tell you what they don't like. They're going to tell you what they like. They're going to tell you what they don't want to do and what they want you to do.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know if, once again, there's things that you guys are talking about on the season, like sleep trainers.
Right.
And like we had a sleep trainer when Arlo was going through, no
Sleep
sleep
regression.
regression. Thank you. And she basically said to us politely and in a good way, you guys are not
Do you want me to
doing
tell
things
you what
right.
she
You're not.
said?
I know. Like you guys are not being good parents. Your child is manipulating you and
She said
taking.
we're not being good parents.
Like basically, she said your child's manipulating you. You have to stop. Like there's no more. Like as much as
no, she's amazing. She was unbelievable.
for us, it's like I would like to say yes as much as I can. Like
she
as
said
much
to
as
you, your luck ran out.
yes, like we'd have a bottle of milk. We'd read a book. He was in bed. That was it. No problems.
We gave him a book in bed.
Oh yeah, we'd give him books
we
in
used to do
bed.
that too.
Right?
And he would read his books and he'd be sleeping with a book on his stomach, on his face, on his
So
side,
we're like,
whatever.
oh my God, perfect child
and
until
then
it wasn't.
and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And guess what? Like when you guys do dive into this, it's like the greatest thing ever. It's a tough day and a half. Arlo stood in his crib for
Yeah,
over 3
we
hours.
talked about it.
Insane.
And he stood there crying and like it's like ripping your heart out, but they have to learn somehow.
Right.
And they're young and you got to mold them. And that's why it's so much fun raising kids. But it's crazy. The shit is all crazy.
Yeah, I think this age is the hardest. That's what we were saying.
It is hard.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh?
I think from a peace of mind perspective, I'd rather have the newborn. I think from a fun perspective, I'd rather have the toddler.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's way
Well,
more fun.
and especially for the
And having both, like you guys had Ace and Arlo very close together, right?
Yeah.
Like dealing with both ends of hard. We're
Yeah,
dealing
you
with
are.
a baby who's screaming and you don't know what you need, and we're dealing with a dictator. And then at the same time, we get the other end of it where we have a child that you can actually have a conversation with and understand what they need, and one that you can't. So it's like both.
right.
Okay, dads. Well, thank
Dedicated
you.
dads.
Dedicated dads.
dads.
Thanks for joining.
Tales from a lockbox.
Yeah.
That was
that's
amazing. We really
Tag sponsor.
enjoyed.
Tag sponsor titles from Lock.
We really enjoyed you guys coming out.
sharing your side of the story. If you
Glad
ever
to be
have
here.
to rebuttal any of the other things we talk about after you see season 2, we can have you on maybe for
We've already started our
So
shared
we'll do it.
note.
We're ready.
We shared our note, and
we have
we have some things that we'll
Okay.
have to discuss.
So now
great.
we understand the flow. We'll be prepared next time.
Okay, perfect. Yes, this was like spur of the moment. We want them. We're so excited. Thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
And
That was-
bye,
it was fun.
everybody.
bye, everyone. We'll
Thanks
see
for
you
having
next
us.
time.
Bye.
Peace, pregnant bitches.